What up, it's your friend B. Welcome to another installation of Denver-based Unscripted. And tonight, it's Two Moons Music Hall. Shout out Mike Word. FRESHMODEFEST presents the Culture Lab, baby. So tonight we just gonna jump in, artists, creators, patrons, and just see what's going on, man. We gonna tap in with the hip hop, and we're gonna tap in with the holistic. You feel me? So, hey, you already know what it is. It's your friend B. Let's get it. Here with my brother, you know what I'm saying, Mike Word. What's going on, G?
Peace, brother. Peace.
How things going tonight?
Oh, it's gratitude. You know, we got the creatives in the building, and we got food and wellness, healing lounge, and dope DJ, and
That's right.
It's a beautiful thing, and you know, people are trickling in. We see what happens. We got a few more hours, so
we're gonna see what happens,
Yeah.
man. That's right. Yo, look, okay, so tonight I just want to center around people. We want to keep with the theme, a little bit of hip hop, but really about self. What are we doing to take care of self? I ain't gotta memorize, but I got a couple questions for you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe just help stimulate your mind, think about what's going on.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Okay, what part of your life has been asking you to slow down recently?
That's a great question. Which part of my life is having me to slow down? I say where I've been shown or I need to slow down is with slowing down, which sounds kind of crazy, but you know, we throwing these parties, we doing these events, and I was kind of like, it was a situation that happened that lined it up for me to start throwing events again, because I used to throw events back in the day, not back in the day, but you know, a few years before all this wave of events I've been throwing lately in the last 2 years. And just this year, it was like, I've been being told I gotta push it more, yeah. And I've been kind of chilling on it, you know what I mean? Like, not really pushing. So I've kind of stopped. I've slowed down on being timid about creating and curating spaces for people to, you know, experience wellness and culture. So
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's good to remove the timidness. I'm glad you got people in your life that are able to push you past that, because you know how it is. We're creatures of comfort, man. So if it's like, I don't know, we'll just stay doing what we're doing.
Right.
But somebody sees a vision in you, somebody sees what you have, yes, you need to keep going forward. I do relate to you though, because being an entertainer, being an event planner, dealing with all the hoopla or whatever, it could be a lot on a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I commend you for being here. We appreciate you being here. The culture, the community appreciate you being here, because honestly, like, without people like you, what would we have to do?
Yeah.
We'd be doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Our phones, exactly.
So, all right then, going off of that, so who in your life makes you feel most like you? I'll say, you know what, I'll open it up like this. Who or what in your life makes you feel most like you?
Probably my children.
Word.
Like, I thought about my second oldest at first, just because she's in a spot where she's like really, she's grooving, you know, she's flowing and grooving, and so, and she puts her trust in me with all that vulnerability around making new moves in life. So that, you know, and I kind of feel like I'm always in that, I'm making a new move, you know. So I'm experienced with that, so I can support people going through, you know, they're making their moves and whatnot. So my children for sure. I see different sides of me in all my kids. So it's a trippy thing, man.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's probably them a lot, and then just some real creatives like Raphael Sadiq, or like, you know, I see myself in people like that, like just that didn't go with the trends, but somehow ended up making the mugs.
Yeah.
You know, could have got caught up in the trend, but instead stay true to themselves, like Jimi Hendrix, or, you know, there's people I'm spacing out right now that I've been recently just like really vibing with. But people that kind of push their limits and inspire other people, you know, with that in that process. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's a blessing. I haven't had the fortune yet to have any children of my own, but I think it's a beautiful thing hearing that. I hope that if I do get lucky enough to do something like that, that my kids will also be an inspiration in my life and a beacon of light, you know what I'm saying, to guide me back. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Okay, so here's the one that's gonna sauce it up a little bit.
Okay.
Yo, what part of hip hop culture feels most healing to you, and which part feels most heavy?
Okay, that's a good one. For me, what makes it feel the most healing is the intergenerational, like multicultural reach that the craft of it has, the crafts. So like the cultural arts forms of hip hop to me are
DJing, BBOYing, graff writing.
MCing, all the,
put me on the spot. I forgot to come on.
Yeah, it's all good.
You know.
Beatboxing and all that. You know, it's just like the creative arts, and that that goes into music. Music is just healing as fuck. You know, excuse my language. Just like, but music is very healing, and I've expanded my whole life and like enriched and deepened and put more depth to my life just because I love music. You coming in? I'm with the high school words.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I've been like, just my life's got deeper with music, and then hip hop just allowed me to create my own path. So, from my inside of my inner world. And it's cool that it's on the outside world because it gives me something I can interface with, but for the fact that it helped me to just be an inner creative and like just make my own path in the world and be true to myself and like really authentically who I am, where I am all the time. It's just, that is the healing aspects for me. And just that empowerment is so healing, especially in the colonized societies that we're in. So yeah, so that's really important. And then like, what's the most detrimental or like heavy?
Like the
heavy stuff for me is like, it's always been how the business interfaces with it, and just how that is also tied in with the social circles of the world and just of our communities, and just how dangerous it is, to be especially MCing, being the front man of a music outfit that's hip hop related. It's just been, historically just pretty dangerous for a lot of people if you don't have the perfect alignment of people and alliances. These little chinks in the armor just become dangerous, get wide open. Like people like Tupac, you know what I mean? Just like, it's just, we got a lot of examples of it where it's just like, damn, they didn't have enough protection around them, and it's just like how they were shaped to be in the space is just made it, they're very vulnerable. So, and then just because you're trying to push forward and do better, like have a more financially empowered situation so you can take care of your people, just having that type of mentality in hip hop is not very embraced, even though it happens a lot. Like, a lot of people get a bunch of, get their business and their finances empowered through hip hop, and they're taking care of their people, but it's not like necessarily why people are supporting them, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
always something lingering behind.
Or using another reason to get the money, to get the financial stability to help your people. And it's just, you can't just be like, look, I'm a creative artist, I'm out here, doing something good for my community, and I'm skilled and I make good music, and if I become financially sustained and empowered by this, I'm gonna take care of communities. And like, having that coming out like that, in the 70s, we was getting targeted for being that type of person, Fred Hampton and people like that. It's like, they like, I'm trying to unify communities.
Enough of that going on.
Yeah, exactly. And capitalism really wants us to be individual and like individualize wealth instead of really be in touch with wealth how it really is, which is it's a fucking collective shared resource. We're always paying each other, always circulating value. Value's always getting circulated. So it ain't when it's sitting in somebody's safe, hoarded somewhere, it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. So it's just inert. It's just dead. It's dead over there, you know?
It's just dead.
Yeah, you know? So yeah, you know, just that whole dynamic of that, you know, having a real multi-faceted world versus just like, I'm gonna get money. And then, you know, just having that play out when it's a hip-hop artist, when they're like, I'm gonna get money. And it's like, it's a lot of forces that make it dangerous to just do that. And then, you know, and then on the other end, it's just like, it's heavy that if I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get money, but I'm gonna do these good things with it, that's also just not really fed and nourished in our society. Right. So both of those, you know, the whole scenario just kind of gets heavy, man. You know, financial empowerment with the arts, culture arts is
start getting some money. People start looking at you.
Yeah, looking at you weird, or you know, or you just they don't really you have a hard time ever finding access to the money to begin with. You know. So, but you know, I know it's we defy the odds all the time. So I'm gonna keep at types of things, you know.
Send us on off of that, you know. Send us off of that.
Because we can't redefine the models and be new examples. You know what I mean? Exactly. Be like, look, he has all the resources he needs, and nobody's trying to kill him, and he's helping people in his communities, and you know what I mean? Like that does happen. So, you know, it's just not what is the popular. And that's heavy. You know?
I think it's important, like if it was easy, if it was a popular thing to do, you know, like we would be in that percentage of people.
Right.
But it's people watching you right now online, you know what I'm saying? They might be hating, not supporting because you're doing something that they don't, but there's plenty of people out there who are living through you. They seeing that, I knew that guy, you know what I'm saying? Or, I'm gonna go to the next one, like, because you got the power and the ability to do it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so all I'm saying, y'all, is just that, like, sometimes the most popular thing to do, it's not always right for what the path has laid out for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, all right, brother, I got a couple more questions for you, and I'm gonna let you go. I know you got to get back to it and everything. All right, so what is something that you got through personally that you're proud of, even if nobody really seen you get through it or even called or asked about how you was doing during it?
Wow. You know, I was in like just a couple years ago, I could say I was kind of like artistically depressed. Like I was still being creative and, you know, writing music and all that, but I didn't feel like inspired, and it's kind of weird looking back at it. Like, I didn't really notice it in the moment. I was just still doing my thing and being creative, but I was just like, I was depressed around it and just didn't, you know, I was almost questioning it. Not really though, because, you know, I would never stop no matter how I feel in the moment. Like, I know how important it is for my soul and my spirit to be a creative being. But, and I just happen to I love writing rhymes and making beats and listening, you know, being a part of music sessions and shit. So it's fun regardless. But, you know, just the collaborative spirit of it. Like, I wasn't really collaborating a lot with other people, and I realized that that's really important, you know, to have that camaraderie with other creatives.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't doing it a lot, so I was kind of depressed. And then, you know, a few cats started sending me some beats, and I'm like, that snapped me out of it. So, but, you know, they didn't know what I was going through really. So it's just, you know, me reaching out to be collaborative, you know, is what got me through it, and I'm proud of that. Like, that's something that I control. Like, it's not just like these random acts of jacked up shit that we have to overcome. I thought a bunch of them I thought about, but it's like the one that really is the one is, you know, just me, like, not accepting being depressed and being just uninspired creatively. I didn't accept it, you know what I mean? I went through it, I felt it out, I was present with it, but I didn't accept it to be like just this is how it's gonna be. And I reached out and I kept coming to events and
push through.
Yeah, and I connected and networked with more people, and there's like this whole younger generation of artists that are in the city now that are like reinvigorating the space, and like that. Like being around all of it, it really helped. And then, like I was saying, some of the people I reached out to, like, started collaborating and sending stuff back. And like I got a record with Burroughs that I'm done with it pretty much. Just like little things like that. And then like some of my OG homies that I always been around, just going to the lab and recording music and all that shit, that got me going again, boy. I was
I'm already
so I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I kept going, and kept reaching out and stay committed to being creative.
You should be. I think it's important. Sometimes it gets tough. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. I've been in a down motion myself here recently. But we outside, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad people are willing to share their energy so that we can all come up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so look, we just gonna end on a high note. This is my last question for you. You can make it quick, however you want to do it. What is a part of your identity that you're finally growing into? I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah. Part of my identity that I'm growing into is probably I'm a lot more, like I've always been a little bit of a loose cannon, but I'm more unapologetic about who I am. And that's not like saying a lot from how I've been rolling my whole life already, but at the same time it is for me, you know what I mean? It's like I'm growing into that, and I'm not worried about if people like me or don't like me. I like when people like me. That's cool, and being real with that, just being more real with myself. But I'm not really tripping when people don't like me, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm growing into that, just not really having to be a people pleaser, and but like still, making new connections and just making stronger bonds and relationships with the people, just all my relationships, strengthening the quality of my relationships. I'm just going to another level with, and that's what my whole shit is about. My ecological design, just how I approach life in general, and how nature informed me on how this shit works, which is basically, it's about the quality of the relationships of all of the things moving around in the system. So I'm one of them things moving around the system, moving around with all my folks, and just having a quality. And then sometimes that quality can be like I'm saying, I like to have clean lines, so I'm growing into like, if you down with me, that's dope. And we build on the quality of that. If somebody's not down with me, that's dope. And we can build on the quality of that, you know what I'm saying? It's like just having these distinctions and being able to be real concise and authentic, like I'm saying, in touch and being present with our lives. I'm like, and being a proponent for that, I'm coming deeper into that, so.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Mike Word, I appreciate you again, brother. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we get to sit down again soon. Is there any last final words you need the people to know?
Hey, keep checking out Freshmode Fest Productions. We doing a bunch of stuff this year in June. Yeah, in 2026 we got a lot of events, festivals, and just health and wellness and roots and culture and ecological design, stewardship, being healthier, having a healthier society to live in and celebrate. So we doing it. Celebrate life.
All right. Well, look, y'all know what it is. It's your friend B, DnVRBASED Unscripted, Mike Word, Culture Lab. Let's get it.
This is J Red, BBOY Finesse, FYNES, Finesse. That means feeling your natural, essential self. You got to live your life, be who you are, finesse your life. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Finesse, I appreciate you being here. Look, y'all, this is my first time even getting to speak with a dancer, man. Right. And dance is such a beautiful form of expression, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's an honor. How long have you been doing it?
Oh, man. I've been dancing since '88, I would say, is when I started dancing. So, yeah. I'm kind of a young OG, I guess you could say. Like I got grandkids, you know what I mean? So.
you know, some people like he was born in the 1900s.
Yeah, that's what they be like. Yeah, my kids tell me that now too.
Oh my God!
You started with a 19, but I did grow up here in Colorado. And like I said, in the 80s, we had a group called BAD. It was called Be Against Drugs, and it was a street group that started with stomp and stepping and dance and movement that helped keep kids in, you know, positive organizations and just like, you know, keeping us out of like negative, you know, behavior in the streets and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'm a PK, a preacher's kid. So my dad had a church out here. In that time, it was one of the biggest black churches in Colorado at the time in the early 80s, 90s, and
this don't happen to be just like right around the corner here.
It was close to here.
Okay.
It's called New Hope Baptist Church.
Okay.
And back then we was on 23rd and Ogden on the east side, and we had a building fund. And then the mid 90s we moved over to 38th and Colorado Boulevard, built a whole new church building. And my father was like really strong in the you know, the civil rights movement. He was close with Dr. King. They marched in many Alabama together. He was on the platform when he did I Have a Dream speech. So he was really like involved with civil rights. And I grew up, basically, went to school on the east side, but then my parents had me move to a private school out in like the Cherry Creek district. So I kind of grew up in this strange space, you know what I mean?
Brother, what was that like, especially during that time and everything like that? Brother, tell me, what was that like, especially, all right, because hear me out.
Yeah.
You went from the east side.
Yeah.
Shout out Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
I was just playing.
Yeah.
Then you moved to Cherry Creek School
District
in a private school.
Yeah. I went to a Catholic private school, but my church was in the down in the hood, so to speak. You know what I mean?
And so, okay, how did you have to navigate that socially then amongst your friends and then you know what I'm saying?
It was very interesting because in the neighborhood, I guess I was a little what they call whitewashed, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't black enough to be where my friends were, but I went to a Catholic private school and I was the only, you know, black kid in the school. So it kind of created this weird dynamic where, you know, I knew how to fit in wherever I went, but I felt very isolated and not completely understood because, you know, I speak proper or whatever they call that stuff. But I was really just into the science and politics at the time, you know what I mean? And understanding like what is life about and as far as like why are we in this position that we're in, because that was the end of segregation. So I lived in the Cherry Creek area, but we were bused into the hood. So all my white friends and I were bused into the hood, but it was like a culture clash, you know what I'm saying? A really interesting dynamic, you know what I mean? So but it helped me understand people, because I always looked at people for people, you know what I mean? I had a lot of friends who were special needs, disabled and stuff, but I just looked at people's spirits, their light inside of them, you know, who they were. And I didn't get reminded that I was black until I went to high school, and then people started like getting in. Even my own friends we started separating. And so then it's like, oh, I see these ideas are being projected upon you, you know what I mean? So,
you know, I can relate to that, but we're not even gonna get into that, brother. What I'm saying, you learn how to code switch to survive. Back when you had to survive, not like, oh, they just gonna deny me here, like, nah, it was, I'm about to be real lonely through these critical moments in my you know what I'm saying, in my young youth type stuff. So I think that's important.
It was very important because what I did to escape, actually, that's when I embodied movement and dance, because I didn't relate to the social groups, so I became a skater actually, and that was in the like early 90s. And I even put down skating one time because I was walking out of school, and that was when like, you know, gangs was really getting up, and a car full of homies rolled up, and they was like, yo, what you doing that? You know, they pulled out a strap and they was like, what you doing with that, man? You know, and I was shook. Because I'm like, dang, I'm just trying to be myself. And it was this big movement of like, if you don't belong in these crowds, you know, people like, you know, that was the thing. And that really made me see like, my safety it made me real introverted. I'm like, dang, I got to find safety within, because if you try to belong and try to fit into the world, you get lost. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
We get into it on this with this one, y'all. Like for real. I really can relate, man. Especially being mixed. I grew up with a black mother. She raised me, and then meeting the other side of my family later on. Like I had to learn a lot of things. I was just telling somebody, I don't think a lot of y'all people understand, man. Like I grew up when like the routine was, cut the crock pot off when you get home.
Right.
The dining room tables for mail, and you sit on the couch and watch TV.
Right.
Bro, imagine like having these experiences, like you're in a developmental part of your adolescence or whatever, right? And then like you're thrust into a new experience you don't even know how to navigate that.
Yeah.
You know, like sitting down, like doing it this way.
Yeah.
So having to switch like that and being exposed to like those different cultures, like in such a way where you don't really have an option.
Yeah.
I feel that, bro. I wish I could be out here dancing and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's expensive because I think what it taught me is like the movement don't lie. Our first language is actually telepathy. It's because remember, 90% of communication is unspoken. You could walk into the room and feel the vibe, and so that's where I learned to be like, oh, I could just read people, and then I just felt like dancing was the way I wanted to express myself because the movement is so, captivating. You're taking cosmic prana energy into your body and you're translating it.
Some of y'all never even heard that word before.
Oh, yeah.
He said taking the prana.
Yeah. Your life force energy, and you're transforming it for people to see. You embody it, literally, what you embody. And that's always intrigued me about dance. And so I became really good at expressing myself through movement. And that's where the dance came from, But also, it's because I think sometimes it was hard to relate to folks intellectually, so I was very creative with the movement, because that's the motion, that's what we are, energy and motion, emotion. So expressing through your emotions is just that, and that's what dance became to me. So, and then I just started teaching, and I used to rock Soul Train back in the day. I was dancing on Soul Train from like 2000 to 2003. I created a unique dance called the hat style that most people gotten to know me for, that still no one to this day does. I have to show it to you. I'll show it to you.
Yo, it would be an honor to see something like that.
Yeah, and it's because it's all about timing, synchronicity, and that's the order of the day. The law of the universe is synchronicities, right? So when you syncing yourself with music, dance, culture, people, I don't think they realize, how important that is, because right now we're so out of sync, even with time, because if you think about it this way, I read this book that talks about time. It's like time is to the mind what air is to the lungs. So if you live in an artificial time, then you live in an artificial reality, and you have to sync yourself with real time, which is the law of the earth, the natural vibration of the earth. 13 moons, not 12.
Type stuff.
Yeah.
Brother, you will be happy to know I have been tapped in that. Look, I done got to the point I said, Mama, it's not my birthday. You know what I'm saying? It's your birthday. You know what I mean? Like that level of, I'm like, and if y'all look, it ain't hoopla, man. Like, why would you celebrate the new year when ain't nothing new there?
Exactly.
Start there. You know what I'm saying?
And so, no, you good, because we building, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what I learned when time is artificial, so is the reality you synchronize yourself with, right? And that's the thing. So I think it's chaos. So therefore, right now we're living in chaos because we're following the script and the narrative of a story. And we have to rewrite the story. We have to I know where we come from is no disrespect to our past and whatnot, but if we continue to tell ourselves this story about identity, gender, who we are, how we identify, we stay caught in a loop, whereas we don't get to step outside of that, because you can't fix the problem in the same thinking that created the problem. So you really got to be expansive with your thinking and think outside the box that actually I'm a cosmic being and I'm living in a multi-dimensional universe at one time coming together. So all of these things are synchronistic, and if more people would dig deep into themselves and realize that and stop separating ourselves through the story, that's how we really come together. You know what I mean? So
that's power, brother. Okay, so look, we don't even need no script, man. This is crazy. All right, I'm not gonna hold you up too much longer, but off of what you just said, I want to know, what do you believe that does to a creative person who's like, hear me out. Okay. So you're a creative, which means at some level, like, you have the ability to channel something, to regurgitate something. So you're blessed, you're tapped in a little bit. What do you think the confusion, the delusion, the disarray does to a creative person who doesn't realize like it's happening, but is going through it? Like,
oh wow, that's a good question.
And maybe like how that relates to like their success, or if they're able to break out or not,
Dang, that's a very good question. It's actually, I've been thinking about that a lot, because what happens to a soul that gets trapped in that kind of thinking and stuff like that, that's where actually addictions and escapism comes from.
Take this fucking mark.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. It's because what happens is like that creative energy is stunted and it has no outlet. So then what we end up doing is like finding something, some type of outlet, and that's where literally you have geniuses, people who end up like homeless, addicted to something, some type of form of trying to translate that energy because the world doesn't accept it, right? And you're trying to fit into a place that doesn't accept you. So the only other way is like, well, this soothes me and this is what helps me, right? So
do you have any advice for anybody that may or may not be struggling with such a thing like that?
To tap into your inner world, remember, like, we were not animated into the body until the breath comes into the body, right? Because breath literally is consciousness. So I think going into meditation, deep meditation, and self-reflection, I think is important. That's where you're gonna find yourself. You know, when you shut out the world and go internal, right? The only way out is in. We're not gonna get out there through something else. The only way out is to go in. And once you find in, you'll find the roadmap to let yourself out. That's how I look at it.
Damn.
Yeah. Yo, appreciate you.
Yo, honestly, brother, y'all, like, this has been a blessing, man.
Yeah, man.
For everybody watching and everything, like,
yeah.
Look, man, y'all know what it is.
Yeah.
Brother, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Likewise. Look, take this. Is there anything else you want to leave the people with or leave yourself with for a future time and day?
Wow, I would say, I think love is the key. You know, I know that sounds cliche, but at the end of the day, man, like, yeah, we just got to find that way to love is eternal, you know, because love is a frequency. It's nothing that you can possess and hold on to. It's something you could tap into. And once you tap into the frequency of love, that's love for all things, you know, because I am because you are, and because you are, I am, that whole thing, you know, that's when you're able to really see you wouldn't bring harm to another being or individual because you realize that's God reflecting you, like that's you reflecting God. And so I'm not gonna disrespect or bring harm to the Creator. I'm gonna show admiration for my creation by showing love to all things around me. That's how I look at it, you know. And I'm working on it because we're not perfect. I've fallen short. I've hurt people, you know. Yeah. I've been in the human form, but when you step outside of it and we're all light and we're light reflecting light, that's God reflecting one another, then I think that's, you know, that's important, man. Love your loved ones while we're here because tomorrow's not promised. You know, hug your folks, love them because, you know, love eternal.
All right.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate you again, brother. Look, man, y'all see what it is, yo. It's your friend B, Denver-based Unscripted Culture Lab.
Yeah, peace.
Lab. Tonight I'm here with Chris Haven. How you doing, brother?
Yo, what's up? Doing good, man. How you doing?
It's another day, bro. We pushing through, you know what I'm saying?
What's up?
All right, how's the event going? How's everything treat you right now?
It's good, man. It's always a good vibe here. Mike Word's awesome, man. His events are awesome. Hip hop. It's live. Still going.
Yeah, absolutely.
It ain't dead.
Oh, definitely not. Whatever y'all was talking about. I do gotta ask, man. I've been out the loop a while. Any new projects that have sprung up, or you got anything in the works right now? People might be on the lookout for. Any new tricks you've been able to lay down? I don't know, man. What's going on?
I'm always trying to build, man. Projects. We got some collab clothing shit coming up soon with 303 boards. I'm stoked on that one. You know, just trying to keep it moving, keep building. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Well, I just want to say thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I follow you for a while too, man.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that, man.
And then, you know, I'll be popping up like, oh shit, I know who that is. You know what I mean? On the wall. It's dope, man. It's dope.
Thank you so much.
So look, man, we're gonna keep focusing on you. I got a few questions tonight. You don't feel comfortable?
No,
we can pass.
Yeah, let's shoot it. I might have to pass on some of them. I don't know.
Okay.
How crazy you gonna get?
Nah, it's nothing crazy, man. It's just about we trying to really hit the holistic aspect with it. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So, yo, what's a part of your life right now that's asking you to slow down? Being that you skate, you know what I'm saying? Being that you be with the can and everything else,
Word.
you know?
So, honestly, like, as you get older, I mean, the body does take a toll. It deteriorates. You know, you got to slow down on partying a little bit, you know. I think you have to balance it out with, like, being healthy, you know, good diet, workout. It's tough, though. That's like a tough thing to do, you know what I mean? It's like it's something you really got to put your mind to and, like, be, like, about that. You know, it's easy to just, like, slip, but, you know, just try to keep it going. Try to like, just keep your body and mind, you know, whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's super important, especially when you're in a lifestyle. You're blessed if you have the foresight to see that early on. You know what I mean?
And it's hard to see that early on. Yeah. Because, like, when I was younger, I would never thought about, like, stretching before skating or, like, wearing a ventilator mask while I'm painting or something. You know what I mean? So, like, it definitely takes a toll. And, like, as time gets going, like, you got to really, like, realize those moments, you know, and, like, what to do about it.
It gets to a point you got to ask yourself, like, do I want to sustain a long time?
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
For sure.
Or, like, am I in it just to real quick? And I think that's really what separates the people, you know what I'm saying? Well, obviously who last or whatever, but who go from being good to great, who go from, like, they kind of know me to, like, nah, they know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
It comes to a point where, like, you're your worst enemy. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna build and you keep building, like, you got this momentum going, like, your worst enemy is yourself. Like, so, like, if you're not healthy with yourself and you're not, like, trying to be active, like, you're gonna bring yourself down. You know what I mean? Like, if you keep building, like, you're only gonna keep building and be greater. You know what I mean? But, like, if you let yourself, like, slack, it's gonna be a hindrance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, what type of bricks are you laying down, basically? You know what I'm saying, for yourself? You know, like,
longevity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For sure.
So,
when you get older, you start thinking about that more. Like, you're like, you know, I only got so much longer to be here, or, like, you know what I mean, my health might be, you know, getting down or whatever. But yeah, so it takes a toll, man. It does. You gotta be like up on it on all levels. The older you get, like, you have to really, like, be up on it.
all right, yeah, that's most piece. So, all right, we're just gonna go along with the theme here, finessing with the can, you know what I'm saying, tweaking something different to land that trick, especially at the, you know, point in time in your career that you are or whatever, you really want to execute. What is something small that you've changed that's led to a big difference in your life recently?
Stretching, you know what I mean, and not getting too crazy, being like aware of like what you have to do, maybe even like just the next day, to where you're like, I'm just not gonna like party that hard that night, you know what I mean, or like, you know what I mean, like slow down, because tomorrow I got to do all this shit. So it's like an awareness factor that comes into it. So what are some of the things that you like to do to help you recover? I mean, like, legitimately. Or what are some of the things you like to do to like treat yourself? You put in some work the day before, be it, you know, like this form of expression or skating or whatever. How do you take care of your body, your mind, and your soul the following days? I mean, for skating, like stretching for sure, you know what I mean? Trying to work out on the off days, you know, like stretch, like work out those muscles, or even just like get on the board and like just skate around, like fill the board out, because like board control is a lot about it, and just like just chilling, you know, for spray painting, not too much on that level, but more like physically for me, like skating is like, I'm really aware of that, and I'm like trying to like, you know, I'm like trying to go hard, take a day off, you know what I mean, and chill. balance it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great perspective. I will say, and you didn't say it, but this is what I think. I think skating is such an active sport that it will help you keep you limber to do other things, because I've had some times in my life where I'm very sedentary, you know, and then my shoulders getting stiff or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I'm walking, if I'm staying active, that'll allow me to do lower impact things, like, for instance, like paint or graff, or even just be bent over. I know you do some really large scale work, you know, so to just be able to navigate that, I think is really a secret for a lot of people. Don't stop moving, you know?
For sure. No, that's key. I was just going to say that, like, if you let your body, like, stop, like, even on days off, I'm not just, like, sitting there chilling. Like, I'm, like, still stretching, moving around. Like, if you let your body just, like, sit there, you like have to keep moving, you know what I mean? Because that's gonna like tighten your whole shit up.
Yeah.
So
active recovery, y'all. Y'all didn't know y'all was gonna get that, but that's the game for y'all right there.
Hey, yo.
Okay, I'm not gonna keep you too much longer, brother. Just a few more questions. Yo, what is okay? So hip hop. Obviously, you got one side of that. I don't know if you do any dancing or if you do any spitting or rapping or anything like that,
Yo,
but you definitely got
I
the
tried to do I tried to do all the elements, but dancing was just like something I couldn't do. I tried to break dance. I couldn't get power moves, man. So I was like, that's
do you think I'm getting power moves, bro? No, man.
No, people can do it. People can do it, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that there is, you'll understand this. Everybody could skate, right? Like, essentially.
Maybe.
But there are people who are more built for it. This is why we get skate. And don't let me.
I'm gonna say this: everyone can do everything with practice.
That's true.
It takes practice.
Okay.
Because if I didn't stop and give up on breakdancing, like with practice, maybe I could be all right. And with skating, like, you just got to put in practice, you know?
That's true. Look, man, I used to have some homies back in the day. I riding around. I had a big fat board, dude, just to keep the weight. And I'm like, my only goal was to try to be like good enough to be like the camera dude for him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
I didn't make it too far.
But also, if you're not feeling it, like, there's no reason to push some lane you ain't feeling. You know what I mean? So.
Big facts. Big facts.
Yo, we need cameraman skating, so.
Yo, if I could, look, I don't know, I might have to get drone certified, and we just gonna do it like that.
That works too. That works too.
I don't know, man. Okay, so I just want to know, speaking on hip hop, the culture, and everything like that. What is a part of hip hop that like brings you like the most joy? You know what I'm saying? And then what is a part of hip hop that you feel is like very heavy? You know what I'm saying?
Man, there's a lot of angles to that. I like beats a lot in hip hop. I also like the DJ aspect. Like, if you can move a crowd, your selection is good. Like, you can fill the crowd out. I also like grimy rhymes. Like, I think a lot of hip hop is about like telling your story and like where you're from. And a lot of people front and just say whatever they want. So like, to be able to tell a story about like the hardest area or like the hardest parts of life that you've been through hip hop, like that's really like motivating, and that's like something that speaks to me in hip hop. There's a lot of angles to that question.
Is there a side to hip hop that you aren't too fond of, or something that like you wish could improve? Like, if there's one thing I'll say it like this: if there's one thing you could tell the hip hop community that they probably not talking about, what would it be?
I mean, I just like real shit in hip hop and music in general. So if like you're just making the song to do this, please this, or say something or something you're not really living about, then like that's something it's not necessary in hip hop. You know what I mean? I think, and also like going back to that other question, like being like positive in your rhymes, that's always good. But sometimes like hip hop is not about that. It's about like telling your story. So Just like changing, like fakeness. You know, if you're faking it in hip hop, like there's no reason for that. Like that's not hip hop.
It's not pushing anything, really.
Yeah, it's really just like trying to get a bag or something or whatever you're doing it for.
I'm saying, all right, last question, here we go. What's a version of yourself that you finally letting go?
That I'm letting go? I think just like the partying, era. I used to party a lot when I was younger. Not that I didn't, not that I don't look back and regret those times, because I think I had fun, and enjoyed that. But I think just like growing older, like at some point you have to kind of slow down on that a little bit. Like you said, realize about longevity, you know what I mean? And like what you want to leave here, who you want to be, who you want people to see you as. And, it's not always a good look to be like that, but yeah, I think that's it, man. I think,
Okay. All right, bonus question since we got time.
Yeah, let's go. Let's run it.
All right, and then I'm going to hand this mic, and I just need you to address them, all right? Okay, so, all right, bonus question here, final question. Again, Chris, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. OG in the game, man. Like, on a lot of levels, bro. Like, I don't think you understand, man. From the outside, just let me... If I had some flowers, I would give them to you physically.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so what advice do you have anybody aspiring to pursue art, fine art, and actually becoming successful at it?
So I would say just keep going. It's tough to break through in art. If you're doing your dreams and you're living what you want to do, you're not going to fail, because you're always going to be doing what you want to do. Regardless if you make it or not, you're going to have a beautiful life. So just keep going with it and love what you do.
Brother, thank you again so much.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully this isn't the last time I see you. Hey, look, Chris Haven, it's your boy B, dnvrBASED Unscripted. We're here at the Culture Lab. We're gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
Let's go.
Damn, man, thank you so much, bro. Like that's a